Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the April 16th, 2026 meeting of the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners. If you would stand with us, please, I'll call on our Commission Chaplain, Romel McMurray, to lead us in our prayer and our pledge. Commissioner McMurray.
Good evening. Before I pray, I noticed most of you probably have saw us in the corner praying. I would just ask for you all to just continue to keep a few county employees in your prayer this evening. Let us pray. Most gracious and all-wise God, we stand before you right now to tell you thank you. We ask that you be with each and every we ask that you be with us each and every single day. Lord, be with us in this chamber tonight. We ask that you allow us to cover the business of the people of Rutherford County. I ask that you cover us all with your blood. Father God, we thank you for your grace and your mercy. God, we're grateful for you every single day. I pray that you heal the sick, provide to the less fortunate, restore the lost, and heal our land. I pray that you continue to be with the families that are in bereavement at this time. Remind them that there is still comfort and guide them through their challenges during this season. Lord, we know that challenges arise, but we know that it's just preparation for a purpose that you have for us. As we stand here tonight, let us remember to keep treating others right and continue to trust you, because we know that favor is all upon us. Let us not be ignorant of the things that are going on across our state, our country, and our world. Let us continue to pray more and more, every minute, every hour, every day. No matter what party we vote for, there are things going on right now that our only response should be is calling on the name of Jesus. Let us send prayers to our troops. Let us send prayers to the Middle East. Let us send prayers to every corridor, the north, south, east, and west, right here in Rutherford County. We can affect things with our prayer. We ask for wisdom and peace of God over this nation and over this world. Lord, I pray for every person that is a decision maker. Let us be filled with the mind of Christ. God, we just want to say thank you. We ask that you be with our first responders, Rutherford County, the state of Tennessee, and the United States of America. It's in your name that we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 3 white stars on the field of blue. God keep them strong and ever true. It is with pride and love that we salute the flag of Tennessee.
Thank you. You may be seated. We'll call on Lisa Crowell, our Rutherford County Clerk, to call the roll. Lisa?
Commissioner Oliver? Commissioner Piercy? Commissioner Hall?
Here.
Commissioner P?
Here.
Commissioner Davison?
Here.
Commissioner Beverly?
Here.
Commissioner Cush?
Present.
Commissioner Reed?
Here.
Commissioner James? Here. Commissioner Wilson?
Here.
Commissioner Anthony Johnson?
Present.
Commissioner Boyd?
Here.
Commissioner Paul Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Irvin? Here. Commissioner Harris?
Here.
Commissioner Dodd?
Here.
Chairman Phillips?
Present.
Commissioner McAdoo?
Here.
Commissioner McMurray?
Here.
Commissioner Gooch?
Here.
Commissioner Sereno?
Here.
We have a quorum, 20 present.
Thank you, Lisa. This time I'll call on our Chairman Pro Tem Trey Gooch for the reading of our March 12th meeting minutes. Commissioner Gooch.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have reviewed and read those minutes and found them to be in order and very accurate. Motion to dispense with the reading and approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the March 12th meeting minutes. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you. Next on our list is public comments. We've had 6 people to sign up. And I'll remind you, as you come up, you have 3 minutes. And also, if you would, we're not asking for your address, but we're asking for the district that you live in so that we can make sure that you're a Rutherford County resident. First on the list is Kathy Watts. Her topic is PlanRutherford.
Glasses. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm here tonight to speak in favor of PlanRutherford. The Planning Commission spent 4 years working on this. They worked really hard, and they passed it in September. It was to update the 2011 plan that the Commission never approved. So since then, more than 100,000 people have moved to Rutherford County, and we need a flexible guide to manage our growth. We need a new plan desperately. It projects our growth through 2045 and manages the growth and preserves the character, enables prosperity and aligns infrastructure. It especially protects our rural preserve areas so RUCO still has countryside. It protects our rural living area with no less than 1 home per acre. It's flexible. I do hope that if families have farms and they want to split it out to their family members, that some adjustments can be made. But I urge the commissioners to please approve PlanRutherford tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Josh Walker. His topic is the Library Board. If you would, Mr. Walker, what district you live in?
Josh Walker, I'm from District 20. I'm here to urge you to remove Cody York from the Library Board. He's put the library, the taxpayers, and the voters of Rutherford County at risk of a very expensive lawsuit. He is pushing the board to take $30,000 of library money to pay for an attorney because he has chosen to pursue free speech violations and viewpoint discrimination that violate established law. He and the rest of the board have been informed of the law and that their actions are illegal on more than one occasion. He is violating his fiduciary duty to the citizens and voters by wasting taxpayer dollars pushing his own personal agenda. The board fired Director Luann James in retaliation because she protected us from those unlawful orders. That retaliation further exposes the taxpayers and voters of Rutherford County. Last year, a library board in Campbell County, Wyoming, fired their director over this exact same issue. That director also refused to violate First Amendment rights by moving books, and the county had to settle with her for $700,000 to avoid the lawsuit. We all know the city of Murfreesboro had to pay $750,000 for violating First Amendment rights. So we're looking at Cody wasting $750,000 of taxpayer funds just on the settlement, to say nothing of court costs and attorney's fees, all to feed his personal counterfactual agenda. Beyond federal law, he attempted to break Tennessee law by demanding that the director give him protected patron data. Title 10, Chapter 8, Section 102 of the Tennessee Code prohibits library records from being disclosed without the patron's consent or court order. Fortunately, Ms. James also protected us from that unlawful order. He has violated library policy by taking unilateral action without board approval. Article 2, Section 3 of the library bylaw states that no member may take independent action on behalf of the board without board approval. He alone contacted an activist organization to provide legal help initially, and then he got the board to pay a $3,000 retainer to an activist lawyer he selected to cover their current illegal actions. No other attorneys were consulted, no other board member was allowed to suggest alternative counsel. He even has one of his employees, Darrell Wayne Thomas, appointed to the board, someone who works for him, someone whose job he controls. That is a very serious conflict of interest. He's a danger to the citizens of Rutherford County. He has violated his fiduciary duty, which should absolutely be investigated by the Ethics Committee. He has violated policies, broken federal law, and potentially state law. He has been repeatedly informed of the evidence that proves that his ideology is counterfactual, but he has continued anyway. He has been repeatedly informed of all the applicable laws that make his elections illegal, but he has continued anyway. He needs to be removed from the board before he can do any more damage. I ask that you make a motion tonight to remove him. Thank you.
Next is Jacob Jones. His topic is 287G.
My name is Jacob Jones. I live in District 20. I wrote this speech last week, and since then, A man and his young son were abducted on my street in Manson Pike by ICE, so just right outside where I live. About 3 weeks ago, another young man was injured by ICE agents pursuing him, and he was taken to Rutherford County Hospital Ascension St. Thomas for medical treatment. He was under armed guard by his bedside the entire time and was denied access to a lawyer, his family, and even clergy in the supposed religious institution. ICE is attempting to deport him without a trial in violation of the U.S. Constitution and U.S. law. And as if the depth of this depravity couldn't get any lower, ICE attempted to extract the man on Easter Sunday in direct contravention of the centuries-old Christian doctrine of sanctuary, and the hospital was willing to comply with this, a fact they denied and lied to their incoming patients about, denying even ICE's presence at the hospital, just like Sheriff Fitz, who stood where I'm standing right now and lied about the nature of the 287G agreement. This is our county leadership. This is who they are. And they may deny it, they may attempt to deflect the impact of their actions and their inactions of this matter, but they are drenched in it. They are stinking with it from head to toe, a stench that will never wash away. And for what? A world with no humanitarian laws, a country with no constitution, Christianity with no fellowship, and a neighborhood without neighbors. If that's the case, the country you're supposed to be fighting for, that you love so much, is already gone, reduced to a plot of land with a Walmart and a highway and a gaping emptiness where its soul should be. And who are we that live in Rutherford County that could let this happen without a single word of protest? These are your commissioners. This is your sheriff, and this is your hospital, Rutherford County. If we don't stand up for one another, if we sit back in apathy and fear, we are just as guilty. Stand up for your neighbors. Learn what happens in your community, and please vote this August to make your voice heard. Thank you.
Next is Pamela Jones. Her topic is ethics.
Hello, I'm Pamela Jones, and I live in District 20. Once again, I'm here to help point a spotlight towards the many instances of injustice taking place in this county. First, I'd like to point to the recent firing of Luann James as library director for refusing to follow illegal orders put to her by cowards who think they're on the library board to defend their version of Christian nationalism, who were appointed to those positions by people within this commission. To put it bluntly, this county is about to be sued for a lot of money. Luann not only has the right and moral cause to sue for wrongful termination for what was done to her, but she also has precedent on her side. In Wyoming, last year, a woman named Terry Leslie received a $700,000 settlement from her county for her termination over almost the exact same reason. Locally, the city of Murfreesboro had to pay $750,000 after it tried to ban a Pride event in 2023. Basically, when you violate people's rights and try to do illegal things, everyone pays for it. If I were you, I'd kick that mole rat in a suit named Cody York out before he cost you even more money. And lastly, I'd like to once again discuss the presence of ICE in this community since the 287G agreement Sheriff Fitz signed and then lied about. Just this past Easter, at Ascension St. Thomas, a Christian faith-based hospital, ICE was inside and keeping a man hostage that they injured in pursuit of kidnapping him from his home. He had to have emergency surgery and was then watched over 24/7 in his room by an armed thug and stranger. They wouldn't let him talk to his family, they wouldn't let him talk to clergy that even spoke his language, and they wouldn't let him speak to lawyers. And every single time anyone in that hospital was asked, they denied their presence. They denied what was seen and confirmed by at least a dozen people's own two eyes. The next day in the early morning, he was taken to an ICE facility with no post-operative care. We don't know what's become of him now. Yesterday, a man and his son were just taken outside my apartment and down the street, their truck left in the middle of the road. Really just fills you with the spirit of Jesus and his resurrection, right? Really just makes you appreciate the concept of an immigrant who was chased down by the state and executed, doesn't it? Anyone who chooses to look away from this evil hypocrisy should be utterly ashamed of themselves. All this to say, this county has a serious problem with ethics and people talking out of both sides of their mouths about how much they care and how transparent they are with your tax dollars. Pay attention to what's actually going on, not pretty words. Thank you for listening.
Next is Violet Walther, and her topic is 287G.
My name is is Violet Walther. I live in District 2. This morning at 6:45 a.m., ICE was in Smyrna. They detained an individual today. And if you don't believe me, you can check out Music City Negro Watch, because they are reporting on ICE activity in Rutherford County very frequently. This happened in District 6, Jonathan Beverly's district. One of your constituents was detained today, and I'm wondering how you're feeling on that. You got your start with the Smyrna Police Department, I researched, and I'm curious to know your take on 287G, and how do you feel about a constituent being detained in your district? Because what Fitzhugh has said to us, that ICE and Rutherford County Police won't be working together, they won't be patrolling together, and yet that's what happened this morning. So Rutherford County residents were just tired of being lied to. We're over it. Please restrict funds for the Sheriff's Department, and please end 287G. Thanks.
Thank you. Next is
Mr.
Anna
Chairman.
Karina DeWitt.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Can I make a clarification real quick? Commissioner Beverly serves in District 6. Smyrna is not in District 6. So just to make that clarification. It sounded like it, yeah. Yeah, that is not District 6. So I just want to make sure the clarification it's pointed in the minutes.
Thank you. Ms. DeWitt, topic is 287G. I'm sorry.
No one else is
What did you say?
No one else on the commission's going to speak? Am I okay to accept it?
You're up.
Hi, my name is Anna Karina Lorenzana DeWitt. I'm here again as I come every single month, and I will continue to come every single month, even if I'm the only person left. I live in District 16 here in Murfreesboro. I come to you as a Hispanic resident of our community, as a Hispanic resident of this county, and as someone who was very involved with my Hispanic community. I want to urge you again to please reconsider our participation in this 287G contract. It's not protecting anyone. That's just the truth. I don't know what you all think is being accomplished, but I do know what is being accomplished is a terrorization of innocent civilians who work to serve this country, who came here not to steal anything from you, not to do evil by you, not to harm anyone, but to improve not even their own lives, but the lives of their children. Children like me, who didn't have a say, who couldn't ask their parents, hey, let's just stay back in our country of origin. We didn't have a choice. And now the choice to stay with our families is being ripped out of our hands. How is that fair? How is it fair to people like Stephanie Rodriguez, a reporter that works with National Noticias, someone whose face I see almost every night? How is it fair that she was detained for trying to do the right thing? For trying to get citizenship the right way, the legal way? What do you all gain from silencing the black and brown voices of our community? Are you afraid? Afraid that they'll speak up against what you're doing? Afraid that they'll put what you're doing out into the light? Because we already know what's happening. I don't come here every month to be told by people who aren't Hispanic, who aren't Latino, who close their ears and look away from the horrors that they're contributing to, that what my experience is a lie. I don't come here to be invalidated by the things that I've lived through, by the things that I continue to live through right now. I could be at home right now, but instead I'm here. So don't dismiss me. Don't say that I'm lying. Don't say that I don't know what I'm living through, what my family and what my community is living through. This isn't justice. This isn't peace. And by God, I hope that this isn't representative of what Tennessee stands for, of what you all stand for, of what this community stands for. I urge you all to vote and to do better. Demand answers from your sheriff, demand answers from your representatives, and please listen to us. I'm here speaking for the Latinos and Hispanics that can't come to speak because they are scared, because they can't leave their homes, because they are afraid, they are worried. So please, listen, do better. Thank you.
Item F on our agenda, elections and confirmations. I'll call on our steering vice chair, Commissioner Pettis-Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Elections and confirmations. Number one is the election of notaries. Listings of notaries may be found on your iPads, Commissioners. Mr. Chairman, I move to confirm the election of these individuals as Rutherford County notaries.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the list of notaries. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you.
Item 2, Stirring would like to announce 6 vacancies on the Rutherford County Board of Health. These will be 3-year terms. The current terms will end June 2026. Item 3, Stirring wishes to announce 1 vacancy on CCRC Board of Directors. Current term ends July 1st, 2026. This will be a 3-year term, July 1, 2026 to July 1, 2029. Item 4, we'd like to confirm Dr. Pam Singer to the CCRS Board of Directors to fill a retiring member's term, whose term will end July 1st, 2027. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Dr. Singer to the CCRC Board. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you.
Item 5, we wish to confirm the appointment of Mr. William Tynes to the PBA for a 2-year term for the period of January 2026 to January 2028. County Mayor makes the appointment and the Commission confirms. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
We have a motion and a second to approve William Tynes to the PBA. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? That motion to approve carries. Thank you.
Item 6, we wish to also confirm the reappointment of Greg Tucker, Daniel Alcorn, Delia Goodman, and Shelby Hunton to the County Board of Equalization. These are 2-year terms for April 2026 to April 2028. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
We have a motion and a second to approve these 4 individuals to the Board of Equalization. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? That motion to approve carries. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, this concludes the business of elections and confirmations.
Thank you, Commissioner. Item G, resolution to approve the consent agenda. Once again, we'll call on our Chairman Pro Tem, Trey Gooch.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and colleagues. I have reviewed the consent agenda and find those items to be appropriate. There's been no discussion to remove anything. My motion is to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any questions or comments? Commissioner?
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner James.
I had a couple points that came up. I just wanted to see if it had been discussed because I had not seen the information on, but not enough to remove it from the consent agenda. For number 3 and 4, the approving the Las Casas Community Center lease and the sports lease, are we, who in that contract is going to be liable for the continued wear and tear of that gravel access point now? It seems like it constantly gets the potholes and we keep having to fill that up, but if they're leasing it and increasing the use of it, will the county have to maintain that or will they be subject to that?
Yeah, so that is a common area. I imagine the county will work with the people if there are continuing issues and depending on who creates the damage. I will tell you that before these were presented, county maintenance went out there and I'm not sure exactly all the work they did, but they did some repair work to the road, and so it should be in good shape now and wouldn't be anticipated to have any further issues. If there are issues that occur based on the conduct of the tenants, I'm sure that we would be able to work something out. As to the buildings that are on the premises, those are the repair and maintenance responsibilities are with the tenant.
I saw in the building, I just didn't see it on the road, so I kind of wanted to get clarity on that. Not enough to stop it because the other terms of release are good, but just enough for my personal clarification. And then the last part was on number 15. The drainage easement for 6980 Burnt Knot Road. Again, came through Public Works. We didn't have any problem with it. Spoke to the homeowner out there. Has no problem with it. The only problem I have with that is looking at it as procedural. Driving by there tonight, looks like they finished it before we voted for them to have access to do it. So I'm wondering what we need to do, if we need to do anything on that, or are we just going to be retroactive on this?
I'm not aware of that. You may want to contact Greg Brooks, the road superintendent, on that. I will say that one of the reasons that we bring it all the way to the commission is to approve getting it into the Highway Department's drainage easement book, so that everybody knows that we have the temporary construction easement on there. To the extent there's been any work performed on there, I'm not aware of that. That'd be a question for Mr. Brooks.
Yes, I just was here before I was there. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman
Other questions or comments? Commissioner Piercy.
Maybe I can ease Mr. James's worries. I sit on the board of the directors of the Las Casas Community Center. I helped form it, working with it very closely. We are working on the building now on the inside. We've just spent probably $7,000 on the interior of the building. The county did come out and help us with the road. We're also working on getting some millings to go on the road, something that will stay with us. And I would also tell you that we are taking donations for our community center. If you enjoyed donating us some, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
And remind me, Steve, you have an event on 18th?
We do. We're having a food truck night April the 18th from 4:30 to 7:30. The Ladies Auxiliary Club out of Milton are going to furnish homemade desserts. We'd welcome all of you to come down. We'll let you campaign with our local people out there and see if they like it.
I'll be there, Steve.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions on the consent agenda? Commissioner Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a question about number 14. I'm not clear what this grant is utilized for.
Would you like to pull it?
Sure.
What is it? We'll pull item 14 and put it under our budget. Other questions? For this, commissioners will be on the board. If you would, please cast your vote. Once again, item 14 has been removed and placed under our budget agenda.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
21 yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. It's time for our public hearings under item I, and I'll call on our Planning Director, Doug DeMasi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Commission members. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. We have two public hearings for your consideration tonight. The first is a rezoning request located along Almaville Road. The existing zoning is residential medium density. The proposed zoning is light industrial on a piece of property. It's about 6 acres in size. Applicant intends to rezone this property to build an office and maintenance shop with employee parking, also have an area for storage of empty dumpsters. The applicant received a conditional use permit back in 2009 for use as a trucking firm, which a copy of that is on your iPads with our staff report. His intention is to continue operating that same kind of business on the property. There is a concept plan as well with your staff report. Now, again, this is not a plan development, so they're not binded by this, but this gives you an idea of how they would like to move forward. The applicant also owns property directly to the south of the subject property and plans to expand his business onto the property under consideration tonight. During our pre-application meeting, we did tell the applicant that the location of their proposed building as shown crossed the property line, so at some point, if they did move forward, they would have to combine the two properties. We also discussed other issues such as the parking surfaces, storage area location, and screening. The concept plan that's on your iPad shows a circular driveway onto Almaville Road. This is a state road, so TDOT approval will be required for any new or improved access drives. They may also require additional traffic improvements such as turn lanes. We have not required a traffic study at this point. However, if we feel one is required prior to site plan submittal, that is something that we have the ability to require. But again, TDOT's really going to be the one that drives what improvements are going to be allowed on that stretch of road. Recent history has suggested that they don't like seeing multiple access points. They'd rather just see one. So that's something that they'll probably have to take into consideration as they endeavor to develop the property. Industrially zoned properties are required to provide a Type 3 landscape buffer along residential property lines. You don't see that on the concept plan, but a Type 3 buffer would be required on the north, south, and east property lines. Of course, an engineered site plan, as I stated, would be required for us to review all of these county regulations that we have, and our performance standards would also apply. During the Planning Commission's meeting, they did ask the applicant how long he'd been in business. He answered about 25 years. There were no other questions for the applicant. Nobody spoke during the public hearing. Following the hearing, the Planning Commission did recommend approval by a unanimous vote. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you all have.
Any questions for Mr. DeMasi? Seeing none, we're ready for our public hearing. This time I'll declare the public hearing open for rezoning request REZ 26-003 for Jay Bonner. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this rezoning request, please come forward. Seeing none, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Commissioner James.
Mr. Chairman, Commission, I've been in talks with this applicant, the residents out there, and watched the plan with the Planning Commission on this. Everything seems on the up and up. They've listened to us and followed some of the requests we've had, and they're just kind of doing some housekeeping, and it looks like they're in the process of conjoining the two plots together. So from my stance, we move to approve. With staff comments, excuse me.
We have a motion and a second to approve rezoning request REZ 26-003. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you. Mr. DeMasi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our second public hearing tonight, as you see on your agenda, is a public hearing regarding PlanRutherford. Now, I'm not going to go into a very long discussion here about the particulars of the plan. We've done that at previous meetings. However, I do want to kind of just give you a rundown on how we got to where we are today. That being said, a copy of your plan, we didn't provide you any hard copies tonight, but a copy of your plan is on your iPads along with the proposed resolution for adoption under the SharePoint, which includes the actual adoption resolution, a copy of the resolution adopted by the Planning Commission requesting this board to adopt the plan, a copy of the plan itself, and then a resolution from the county's Board of Zoning Appeals in support of the plan. You'll notice on pages 52 and 53 of the plan, there's an outline of the different phases of community participation, including stakeholder meetings, public events, and other county meetings through June 2025. That does not include the work sessions and meetings following the June 2025. That was when they kind of stopped the timeline. As you already know, the Planning Commission voted to adopt the plan back on September 8th, 2025 by unanimous vote. There was a special called Board of Commissioners meeting earlier this year on January 22nd to have a public hearing and consideration for adoption of the plan. Following the public hearing and considerable discussion of the various things that we heard, this body requested that the Planning Commission consider amending the plan to change the higher end density for the rural living character area from 1 unit an acre to 2 units per acre. So after that was acted on by state law, that has to go back to the Planning Commission for their consideration. So the Planning Commission considered the board's request back in February of this year, February 23rd. And after discussion, the Planning Commission voted to keep the rural living character area higher in density at 1 unit per acre by a vote of 6-3. Consistent, again, with state law, the Planning Commission has transmitted their action back to this body for your consideration. So I want to say this, while most of the discussion on the plan has been focused on that higher end rural density, I wanted to make sure everybody understands that there's a lot more to this plan than simply that one issue. For instance, the recommendations of the plan have already been used for several things. One, to inform staff, us, and the Planning Commission as we make recommendations for rezoning cases. As a matter of fact, the case that you just considered, if you look at the staff report, there's a section in there that talks about how PlanRutherford saw that property and moving forward what we felt was the best way to develop that property. And we've been doing that since we've been looking at rezoning hearings after the adoption starting in October of last year. We've also begun setting the groundwork for looking at an update to our long-range transportation plan. Nothing has come before this body yet in that regard. However, that is one of the recommendations made by the plan, is for us to consider something like that. We've also used it to inform other potential zoning ordinance amendments, such as conservation design subdivisions and other things that we're researching, other different uses that the plan also recommended. So the plan is not just about residential density. Density is important, don't get me wrong, but so is making sure that the areas where this density occurs can develop with adequate infrastructure. So again, there's a lot more to this document that shouldn't be ignored just to focus on that one particular issue. And as I've said multiple times, and I'll say it again, the language of the plan is flexible, which does allow for increased densities in areas that can support it. And that's really what the aim of the plan was trying to do. So as far as your options tonight, you've got several. A, you could adopt the plan as presented and as recommended by the Planning Commission with the higher end density of the rural living character area remaining at 1 unit per acre. You could also adopt with the proposed amendment to change the higher end density of that character area to 2 units per acre. Now, since this is an amendment to the plan, a public hearing will be required tonight, which is what's going to be next on the agenda, and that has been properly advertised. State law requires at least a 30-day notice, and we have done that. You could choose to not adopt and just have the Planning Commission continue to use this as a reference document. Finally, you could ask for the Planning Commission to consider additional amendments, which would have to be, again, considered by the Planning Commission using the same process that we looked at the rural density that we've been talking about. With that, I'm going to finish my comments, and I'll be happy to answer any questions, and I'll be available for the duration of the hearing.
Questions for Mr. Demasi at this time? Thank you, Doug. This time, we'll conduct our public hearing, and I'll ask that anyone wishing to speak will come forward and once again state your name, and if you know the district that you live in, and keep your comments to 3 minutes. I believe this gentleman back here rose first, so we'll let him come up. Name and district number, please.
My name is Patrick Hale, District Number 6. Commissioners, thanks for having me back up here again. Tonight I'm here not for personal reasons, but as a representative of the Rutherford County Board of Zoning Appeals. On April 8th, the BZA voted unanimously in support of this resolution. The Rutherford County Regional Planning Commission has undertaken a comprehensive planning process known as PlanRutherford to guide future growth and development within Rutherford County. On September 8th, 2025, pursuant to Tennessee Code annotated 13-3-301, the Rutherford County Regional Planning Commission adopted and certified PlanRutherford, including its future land use map and related plan components, as the Rutherford County Comprehensive Plan. In PlanRutherford, it adopted by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners, or if, the Rutherford County Board of Zoning Appeals, the BZA, is charged with applying and interpreting zoning regulations and exercising these powers and other variances. Making decisions that are required by Tennessee law to be consistent with the county's adopted comprehensive plan. And whereas the BZA finds the PlanRutherford provides an important policy framework relating or reflecting long-range goals, community values, and guidance for land use decision-making within Rutherford County. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Zoning Appeals that the BZA hereby expresses its full support for the Plan Rutherford as the adopted comprehensive plan for Rutherford County. I can keep going on this, but I'm not going to tonight. I've been up here, I've said my personal side, and I believe that we need a plan. We need to adopt a plan, not just support a plan. And that's exactly how the BZA feels too. So I ask you tonight to vote in favor of adopting this plan. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Michael Jennings, and I live in District 18. I was born and raised here in Rutherford County, and my family owns land here as well. And there's a reason why I want to stay here, build a future here for myself and my kids. But because of the housing prices that's been made for increasing unrealistic, the experience is not unique to me, and it highlights a bigger problem with Plan Rutherford, and what it means for affordable housing. By pushing most residential growth into the cities while restricting it in the county, Plan Rutherford concentrates demand instead of spreading the responsibility. When growth is forced into limited geographic area, housing supply can't keep up. Prices rise faster and affordability declines. That's exactly what we're seeing here in our cities today because of Plan Rutherford. If all housing has to fit inside city limits, then first-time home buyers, young families, teachers, and lifelong residents are left competing for higher options at higher prices. Affordable housing doesn't come from limiting choices. It comes from balance. Smart growth means cities and county areas sharing responsibility for accommodating growth in a way that is planned, responsible, and community-focused. A comprehensive plan that makes it harder for people who grow up here and live here are missing the mark. When someone born and raised in this county with family land here still can't afford to buy a home, that's a signal where we need a different approach. We need a plan that truly reflects our values and keeps Rutherford County accessible for the next generation.
Good evening. Thank you all for your time tonight. My name is John Miller, and I live at 1513 Allwood Avenue in the South Haven subdivision in Commissioner James District. I won't keep you long, as I've got a 4-year-old and a 4-month-old who are going to be real upset if I'm not there to tuck them in tonight. I'm here regarding Plan Rutherford and its proposed adoption. Specifically, I'm asking you to consider a simple but important amendment, supporting an amendment to change my district's designation from an activity zone to a village zone. Developers continue to attempt rezoning in our area, it seems, every month, and we just need a break. We're just tired. We would like the opportunity to save our district just a little bit. Throughout the process, the Planning Commission made it clear to us and to the rest of the citizens that if we wanted changes, we should bring forward amendments. That's exactly what was done by Commissioner Dodd, and he was dismissed outright without any meaningful consideration. That puts us in a difficult position. The process invited participation, but the outcome hasn't reflected it. As a matter of fact, Plan Rutherford's own mission statement is a vision document that is intended to depict community preference for future growth and a strategy for achieving those preferences. As it stands now, that goal is not achieved in its current form. It depicts the preference of the Planning Committee, not the community or this county commission. And I want to be clear, this isn't about opposing the plan outright or as a whole. It's simply about making sure the plan gets it right and that people most effective have a real voice in shaping it. I know there are commissioners who are retiring soon or deservedly seeking higher office. I want to thank you for your time and for your service to Rutherford County. You've dedicated your time to this community, and it's very much appreciated. I'm asking you for one final act of service. Please do not adopt this plan tonight. give citizens and commissioners the opportunity to bring forward amendments and changes and have them fully considered. You're almost across the goal line. Please don't fumble at the one. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ina Gramatsky-Adi. I'm District 2. You are 21 very powerful people for this county. Your decisions affect lives. When I asked why you voted for an amendment in increasing the density, the main thing I was told is landowners' rights. Who are we to tell a farmer what to do with their property? People are told all the time what they can and cannot do with their land. If they are in the city, I don't believe they can have pigs or roosters. Why is that? Because it will be an issue for the neighbors. If my neighbor wants to build a workshop on his land, he needs to go through planning, send a letter to his immediate neighbors. I was just at the Planning Commissioners meeting on Monday, and I heard 3 people who wanted to make changes to their land. They were not automatically approved. Why are they being told what they can do with their land? Because it affects their neighbors. So no, I don't think you telling landowners what they can do with their land is your issue with PlanRutherford, or maybe it is an issue only if a developer is involved. Another reason I am told why some do not approve of PlanRutherford altogether is because they were not involved in the process. You had many opportunities over 4 years. And finally, affordable housing. Affordable for who? I have yet to find affordable housing in any new construction, rent or own. I am here tonight in hopes to see you adopt PlanRutherford, a 97-page document put together over the course of more than 4 years, which according to the document, page 4, was prepared for the Rutherford County Planning Department with assistance from many, including you, the Board of County Commissioners. There were many meetings for the public, and you had a seat at the table for all of it. Just like we have a seat at the table to come here to these meetings to speak our minds, share our concerns, you had that and more. PlanRutherford gave a voice to the citizens of the unincorporated part of this county, and in reading it, what seems consistent throughout the document is the conservation of the rural areas and to preserve the historic agricultural and small-town charm. The guiding vision in the document is Rutherford County will be a community that celebrates its history, small-town heritage, natural resources, and diverse set of values while advancing towards a prosperous future through responsible growth. With that are 4 main goals: manage growth, preserve character, enable prosperity, align infrastructure. Infrastructure is a big issue. Schools are overcrowded, traffic is awful as well as dangerous. PlanRutherford quotes Benjamin Franklin saying, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. PlanRutherford is a plan, not a law. Page 12, the role of PlanRutherford is to ensure that the county is prepared for growth and to establish tools that allow the county to guide development in a way that results in a mutual benefit for longtime residents and businesses and for those who are new to the area. What started out as a concern of the amendment of 1 house, 1 acre to 2 houses, 1 acre has brought out another concern for me, not with PlanRutherford, but with why so many of you hesitate to adopt it. I ask that you consider all of unincorporated Rutherford County in making your decision and pass PlanRutherford. The current many lifelong residences have spoken through PlanRutherford and would appreciate being heard. Thank you.
My name is Susan Allen, and I live in District 14. And I want you to know that I appreciate every one of you always giving me the attention when I make my comments. Thank you. I want you to vote tonight in favor of PlanRutherford as it was approved by the Planning Commission. Here's why. The people who took advantage of the many community meetings to learn about the plan are the ones who cared enough to show up and give their input. As you deliberate tonight, please be cognizant of the fact that this plan is not the final word. It is a roadmap. Public participation does not stop with tonight's vote. As future zoning changes, subdivision regulations, and specific development decisions come forward, there will be additional public hearings and opportunities for citizen input. Planning works best when it continues to invite public voices. Next, there is no need for an amendment changing the density in the rural living area because, as the plan already states, and I quote, a density range is provided as a general guide. The resulting densities may be higher or lower depending on the unique circumstances of each parcel. Here's what's important, in my opinion. In any rezoning request, the burden should remain on the developer to demonstrate why a particular parcel can responsibly support increased density. That means showing that roads, water, drainage, schools, and emergency services can handle it, and that the design fits the character of the surrounding area. If a developer believes that 2 units per acre is appropriate in a rural living area, it's their responsibility to make that case with facts, not simply preference. Future zoning and subdivision regulations will give you the practical tools to work through legitimate concerns about property rights and development in a thoughtful and transparent way. In the end, this plan helps protect taxpayers, neighborhoods, and the long-term future of the county, while showing the public that this commission has the wisdom and judgment to lead fairly and with vision. Please approve Plan Rutherford tonight as it was approved by the Planning Commission. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Kelly, and I'm a resident of South Haven subdivision off Almaville Road in District 9 in Joshua James District. I believe in intentional planning. I actually agree with much of what the two ladies that spoke before me said. I believe in intentional planning, and I believe that a community-involved process that, like what Plan Rutherford represents, where residents have been involved, is an important process. But for a plan to be truly reflective of the community, every part of that community needs to be included. And I don't think that our area has been. The Almaville Road corridor has grown into a residential community over the past several years. There are over 600 homes in the Almaville Road subdivision, and there are more homes being built, continuing to be built in that area. And yet, the Almaville Road corridor, it remains designated as an activity zone. It's a classification that has allowed large industrial warehouses to be approved directly across 840, across from our neighborhood, and a warehouse storage unit be approved right across the eyesight from my home. Affordable housing is one of the most pressing issues facing Rutherford County, and we need development that helps working families, not storage facilities that sit open and warehouses that don't provide the kinds of jobs that allow someone to afford housing in our county. I'm not here to oppose development. I'm here to ask for development that reflects who we are and what our community actually needs. Tonight, I'm asking you to consider an amendment to Plan Rutherford that changes the zoning of Almaville Road corridor from activity zone to village zone, the designation that better reflects the residential character of our community. As the ladies before me have said, Plan Rutherford should be a guide. An activity zone is not the appropriate guide for our residential area. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. I am Allison Terrell, and I am also in District 9, and I am going to keep it short and sweet. Everything Ms. Kelly just said, I completely agree with. I don't think that we should be an activity center. I do believe that thoughtful consideration should be with a village zoning. So I'm going to ask that you guys consider an amendment to this. The majority of Plan Rutherford is really solid and really, really good. but I do think that it is missing that one key piece. So thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Phyllis Ferguson, and I reside in District 8. And in numerous discussions through the years of those who have worked on the Planning Commission, I appreciate their time, their talent, and their efforts in making a comprehensive plan for our county. As somebody who works in agriculture, I work with Tennessee pork producers, but I'm fortunate to have a family part-time farm that keeps my husband and myself very busy every weekend, busier than we thought when our daughter went off to college. As we look at the future of our county, and again, having the opportunity in agriculture to see our counties all across the state facing growth and facing change, we need to address it in the most positive manner that we can. And I appreciate, once again, the efforts of those who have been a part of PlanRutherford and making the whole comprehensive report, and appreciate as they have presented it to you all. We hope that you will be able to support the PlanRutherford plan as it is presented and appreciate the challenges that they have gone through, the 4 years that they have taken to put that into place, and appreciate that consideration. Thanks.
Good evening. My name is Wendy On. I'm in District 9. I'm Dina Demarest, also in District 9. We just experienced on our rural road something that should make us all think a little harder about how growth happens in our county. It was never about just a warehouse going in across the street. It was about a bigger question of who gets to have a say in the future of our community. Too often, decisions that reshape entire neighborhoods are made without considering traffic, infrastructure, environmental impact, or the people who live there. And by the time the residents find out, and if it wasn't for Joshua James, we wouldn't have found out about it, it can feel like the outcome has already been decided, and that's not how it should work. Something like PlanRutherford matters. It's a framework for smarter, more responsible growth. It encourages planning that actually accounts for the realities on the ground and ensures that community voices are part of the process from the beginning to end. Because growth isn't the problem, growth without balance is. We all want thriving communities, but thriving means more than development. It means livability, safety, and preserving what makes a place feel like home. What we just experienced is a reminder that people care deeply about where they live, and they should be a part of shaping it. Adopting principles like PlanRutherford would move us toward a future where the progress and community aren't at odds, but are working together. And that's something worth building everywhere. And for that matter, we do ask that you please consider an amendment from activity to village in our district.
On Almaville.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Trey Smith, District 2, Lascassas, Tennessee. Third generation farmer living on the family farm. That old adage, you don't know what you have till it's gone, I think is representative for tonight. One thing that makes our rural community, this county, this state unique and attractive certainly is our open space and our farmland. I would urge you and ask you for your consideration to adopt the plan as it was mentioned tonight. I think A, in its original form. Thank you.
My name is Lisa Moore. I live in District 8. I went to MTSU 50 years ago. I ended up teaching there 20 years ago. And I've lived in Rockville now for 18 years. Please adopt the plan as is. If you analogize the process to any other change that we make in government, this process has been as good as can be. It is unfortunate that some of the commissioners seem not to have involved their constituents. I think that's sad. I think you need to re-elect or elect somebody else. But this county has gone through the process. They've been very thorough, very conscientious, and I, for one, have been kept up to date. And I fully support the plan. Thank you.
I'm not drunk, but I feel like it. I'm Jim Thompson from the grade 8. My glasses are all jacked up tonight, so I had to go by and get me some readers. Everything I'm going to say is a little bit blurred out, but give me a minute extra maybe or something other. I serve on plan. I serve on the Planning Commission. I know everybody pretty well in this room. At some point in time, we've had discussion. I'm in here as a team member, not on opposite sides. I said that this morning. Somebody said, well, what side is this? I don't want to think of it in terms of sides. I want to think about it as our community. I'm born and raised here. 2 years ago, I was asked to serve on the Planning Commission. I said yes. If you want to get involved and somebody asks you to make a difference, you need to jump in if you can. I appreciate y'all voting and confirming me to do that. It's also important for the future of our community. I've got friends that have discussions on the development side as well as folks that live in the rural part. I got folks that live, I got family that lives in South Haven. I watched a guy that I went to school with that's out of the farming business just because development took place in South Haven and he could no longer farm there. He came here to speak about that. Nothing's wrong with that. It's just a part of evolution, and that's what this plan is. This plan is not designed to be a permanent fixture that's not going to change over time. That's what it is. We sit in and we hear different folks come in every night when we have a planning commission meeting, very similar to what we just heard. Traffic's bad, going to flood, space is important. But I will tell you that traffic is the biggest concern that I've heard. Space is important to people. Folks want to be able to get around this county in less time than they get around. Okay, they want to be able to navigate. Talked to a guy the other day that I know lives out in Las Casas, and I said, man, I come by the other day. He said, Jim, I never come to town through Las Casas. He's got a shortcut. I got a shortcut coming into town from Rockville. I do not come down 99 any longer during school. Right? It's almost impossible. Let me tell you another thing that has opened my eyes on the planning side. And if this is not important to everyone here, it needs to be. Our number one resource here is water. 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 Red light's on. I got to finish this one, okay? I'm going to be quiet. This is important. CUD ran a 12-inch main to reinforce Eagleville less than 10 years ago. Okay? We approved a Dollar General store, 5,000 square feet. There was not enough water for them to do the first time they did a flow test off of this new 12-inch line. During my first meeting, October, that I joined the Planning Commission, we went in and they talked about water being, we had a 7-year supply coming out of the priest. 7 years, that's 5 years ago. I mean, we got 5 years left. Could take up to 10 to 20 years to get approval to pull more water out, okay? We have major issues. This plan is a start. We got guys in this room that can solve this, but delaying approval of this plan is as good as somebody mentioned a minute ago, as good as it's going to get for government. So thank you for your time.
Anyone else? Seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed.
Mr. Chairman. For multiple meetings now, multiple public sessions, listen to my constituents out there requesting some alterations to the activity center. At this time, I'd like to make a motion that we send this back to the Planning Committee for consideration of the following: to adjust the character area designations map as it pertains to the activity center located along the area of Amityville Road, I-840, Shores Road, and Highway 96, Franklin Road. The adjustment is to provide boundaries of the village center to stay south of Interstate 840, north of Highway 96, Franklin Road, and not to extend down Shores Road beyond Old Amityville Road. Changing the current activity designation north of Interstate 840 to the village designation and not to exceed beyond the Amityville Bamboo Company located at 7361 Amityville Road. That's my motion.
We have a motion and a second. We have, in essence, a proper motion and a second. The way this would work is probably a little bit of a little confusing, and I'd like for our county attorney to kind of clarify what would happen.
Yeah, I'll do my best. So, as y'all know, last time there was a proposed amendment to transmit back to the Planning Commission based on the unit density. The Planning Commission discussed that, made a motion to not make that change and send the plan back up here, which you have before you. This would be a new amendment that Commissioner James has made and would require that it go back down to Planning Commission for consideration and come back up here, and we'd have to have another public hearing. It gets procedurally a little complicated because of the various amendments that have been done, yet the commission has not taken up the question at hand, which is to just adopt the plan. Remember, the plan can be changed at any time. So a different procedural aspect to still allow Commissioner James to make the amendment would be to first take up whether the commission wants to adopt the plan as presented, or rather with the proposed amendment that was made last month with the unit density changes, and settle that issue first. And then once you've decided that, Commissioner James could make that motion to have the plan as decided upon by this commission, whether it's got the 2 units per acre or not, can make that motion to send the plan as approved, either way, back to the Planning Commission for the next month to add that change in the plan that Commissioner James has described. That keeps it procedurally on track with the various notice requirements that we've done, the legal notices. That would be an option for the commission. So it still allows you to still make the amendment, but still take up what's been discussed in previous meetings first. That makes sense?
Yes, but no, because my motion was not, it came before anybody made a motion to consider what planning has brought back with denying the amendment. My motion was for what we heard tonight and last public session, as far as my constituents came in, to alter the activity center to a village center in those parameters. So my understanding is I have a proper motion on the floor with a proper second.
You can do it, and
we can take that issue after the fact. It can go back in tandem. I am not intending to bring up discussion on the density issue because I consider that to be resolved. I'm bringing up discussion on the designations.
Yeah, so you can do that. Then if that motion succeeds by a majority vote, then I wouldn't think there'd be any further discussion tonight on the density requirement, because you're sending the plan back down to the Planning Commission to consider this amendment before it's brought back up here again.
That was my understanding, was the original was just like we did the very first time. Once the amendment was made, it goes back to the originating body.
The difference was there was a motion made to approve, and then that motion was amended. There's been no motion made to approve tonight, only to amend it and send it back. It's a proper motion, and we can act on it.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Gooch.
If I may, after hearing the argument from the county attorney, I like the process that he spoke of. So if it's appropriate, I would like to remove my second.
Second has been withdrawn. We're back to Commissioner James' original motion.
I'll second it.
Now we have a motion and a second. I'm sorry, Commissioner Dodd.
Thank you. I can clear the air. I agree, Commissioner James. The issue of the density per acre is resolved. So I mean that this commissioner was honored by a motion was made on January 22nd. The Planning Commission undertook the motion on February 23rd and voted. And I promised at both events that I would abide by the vote. I mean, to me, the process worked. I got in a voice, I got an opinion. So for whatever it's worth, to clarify what Nick said, this commissioner will not be entertaining a change to the density. If that helps anybody else make a decision.
Again, this has nothing to do with the density argument. This is only the designation.
Other questions or comments?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Beverly.
And maybe this is a question for Nick. I guess to understand, we could make a straight up vote to adopt it right now, and then he can make a motion to enter at that point to send it back to planning on just his amendment, but we have issued a vote on the adoption of everything else.
That's correct.
Okay. I agree with your point, and I think your motion is worthy of that, but I think we need to go ahead and finalize everything on PlanRutherford minus that point, just for argument's sake, since that's why we're still dealing with it here in April.
And I disagree with your point. I argue that if we go ahead and adopt it and ask for an amendment to come back, we just saw what happens with the amendment. It comes back without, I believe it was a unanimous vote against to keep as is. Oh, 6-3, excuse me, correct. I was correct, it's 6-3. But left it as is. I view this point as if we adopt it, we lose a lot of that ability to say. And I'm sure there are other commissioners who have others in their district, other things they might need worked or want to have. That's why during Public Works, I was asking for a joint meeting between our two committees so we didn't have to do this constant back and forth. But I still stand that, as you said, unless any of you want to turn around and tell my constituents, no.
Commissioner Dodd.
Thank you, Chairman. I know we have a proper motion second, therefore we will be voting on your motion, right? I just ask as we consider the vote, perhaps tonight could end with, before we vote on, consider this before we vote on Joshua's motion, it could end with option C, which is let it it's adopted. It's adopted. The director of planning said tonight that the planning commission is already using PlanRutherford as written. It's being implemented. Perhaps, Joshua, if your motion doesn't succeed, perhaps the compromise would be that it go back as a guide to the planning commission. What's that, Mike? A guide document as intended. So, and at that point, if it's a guide document, then the future zoning will have to be public hearings. Future zonings will have to be brought before this committee, and that may be where the arguments on specific zoning, such as whatever your employment to village, could occur there. So I just want to say that as we consider this vote, there may be a good compromise to let the Planning Commission run with it and no action from us, and still get your day in court on your specific zoning requests. Hope that makes sense.
Other questions or comments? We'll be voting to send PlanRutherford back to our Planning Commission with the recommended change from activity center to a village in the Amaville area. Is that correct?
The exact parameters he's got, but yeah, essentially, yes.
Okay.
And I ask for roll call. Roll call.
A roll call has been asked for. Okay. Once again, we'll do a roll call on this. So, Madam Clerk will call the roll, and you'll either vote yes or no on the motion. Ready? Lisa?
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Commissioner Piercy?
No.
Commissioner Hall?
No.
Commissioner P?
No.
Commissioner Davison?
No.
Commissioner Beverly?
No.
Commissioner Cush?
Yes.
Commissioner Reed?
No.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Commissioner Anthony Johnson?
No.
Commissioner Boyd?
No.
Commissioner Paul Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Irvin?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
No.
Commissioner Dodd?
No.
Commissioner McAdoo?
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray?
No.
Commissioner Gooch?
No.
Commissioner Sereno?
No.
Chairman Phillips?
No.
Are you ready, Jeff? Call roll. Are you ready? They're ready.
You're ready. If you would, Madam Clerk, record that vote.
7 yes, 14 no.
Motion fails.
With that, then I suggest and make another motion that we choose not to adopt this and let it be a guide to the Planning Commission. Yes, then. Yes, it was a motion to not adopt PlanRutherford as is and let it be used as a guide by the Planning Commission.
Have a motion and a second. I'd like for our legal counsel to kind of explain what that option really means.
Essentially, the option is you're not really taking any action on it. I mean, you're not approving it, and you're doing it through this form of the motion. So it would, as Mr. James described, would just remain a guiding document, would not have the force of law within Rutherford County as passed by this body.
Questions? Commissioner P., did you have anything?
Can we amend his motion to accept the original motion?
No.
I don't know. Okay. Well, after this vote, I'd like for you to look at who you recognize first.
Okay.
This next motion, if this fails.
Could you comment on what his question was? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Other comments?
Mr. Chairman, can we be on the board for this, please?
We can, unless someone asks for a roll call vote.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
may I say something?
you can. Commissioner Reed.
Commission, I understand what's trying to be said here, but I'd like to just say something as an individual that spent 5 years doing this. 5 years. It'd been different if I had walked in and volunteered to do this, say, hey, I want to do this, but I was asked to do this. And we were given an ultimatum. Today, excuse me, that's the wrong arm, that's the one I broke. That's 5 years of PlanRutherford right there. That's 18 meetings, numerous meetings of public comment, 800 opportunities to speak with citizens that are here tonight that have come forward and said what they wanted for Rutherford County. Within our charge as a steering committee to put this plan together, we were told to contact the citizens of Rutherford County. George Washington, before every speech he gave, he would begin it with friends and citizens. He believed so much in the citizen government. We contacted, as I said, 800 or better that were willing to come forward and tell us what they wanted in Rutherford County. Now, I know what we're talking about here and just use it as a plan. That's what we've had since 2010. We just primarily had a plan. We did not even send it at that time here to the commission to ask the commission to pass it and be a part of it. But I was reading today what we have and what it says here in the resolution. And it says the Planning Commission, BZA, and the commission. Am I not right, Attorney? Together approve this as a plan for Rutherford County, for the land use of this county and how we go about doing what we do. It never was intended to be anything else but a land use plan put together by the citizens of Rutherford County. Now we're going to completely change it, all due to the fact that we have stood here and talked about the activity center in one area of this county. That's only one activity center, guys. There are others within this county, and I want to tell you what happened at that Planning Commission meeting. I'm the chairman, and when it was asked about, all I said was, this will be taken care of because what will happen is we will come back here after it is passed, and we got to begin working on the regulations that we work with and the zoning within this county. And anything within PlanRutherford, we will begin working on and trying to fix it. That's not right. I have said the whole time I've been here that this is a plan, not the 10 Commandments carved in stone. There are no rules in PlanRutherford. It's a plan. It's always been a plan, and that's all it's ever been. But your steering committee, nobody actually went in there wanting to do it. They were asked to do it. They were citizens of Rutherford County. They did, I thought, an excellent job. Then it come back to the Planning Commission. They went through several work studies and this sort of thing. And you know, I've heard people say they never had an opportunity to sit at the table. 18 meetings? Everybody had an opportunity to put in their words. I've got sheets, worksheets in here that come from people asking questions that could be changed, and they were changed. Several things were changed, were they not, Doug? Some things were not changed because Planning Commission did not see it was necessary to change those. That area in Amable, I want to tell you there's a lot of things involved there, not just with this. That's the Amable Road, and you do have a lot of truck traffic. We just had a recent one to come up there that we denied due to the fact of the traffic on that road, because we do not see putting something in there because of the traffic. But if you go up above it right there, there's a lot of woods and rural areas. There's a lot of different things in there. I totally understand their situation. And we will be looking at that a little bit closer. But you're going to pull this whole plan out for that one particular area. I get it. I know what you're talking about. But I promise you that it'll come back and it'll be looked at, and all of you in that area will have your opportunity to express these things. And other people within the county, too, that see something that, hey, it's not right, you'll have that opportunity, too. I don't know if you take this off the board or not. That's all I'm trying to say right here. I just don't know if we just turn around and send it back again and do this thing. And that's what I'm trying to say. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Chairman.
Commissioner James.
Mr. Reed, I appreciate the years of service you've had on this and some of the other commissioners that sit on planning. I appreciate the Planning Commission and our planning department for all the work they've done on this the last 4 or 5 years on putting this together. From what I've seen, listening to my constituents, there are a few holes that we wanted to address, and I understand there are mechanisms provided within it, both now and then, to address several of those. And nobody is discounting the efforts and the mountains y'all have moved to get us to this point. But where you've got a bag with 5 years worth of working on this, I have the people in real time asking for one, what we consider minor adjustment as far as the plan, but major for us in our backyard. We're not talking about any of the other activity centers. We're talking about the one that I represent, the one that my people came out for and asked me to speak on their behalf and represent. So with that, that was the creation of the motion I presented. It went its due course. It failed, respectfully. That's the process. Anybody can take a no and understand the no. But the second part of that in this moment was realizing and recognizing that without having that adjustment, there is a big hole as far as my district is concerned where we can't adjust or can't adopt this plan and make it that local stamp with the commissions. The planning department will already operate, they already have, under as a guidance. I only wanted to send it back to have them tweak that. And even if they went back and looked at it and came back and told us no, we at least got them to zero in on that one adjustment. So that was the request. And that's why I stand with, then we do not need to adopt it. I'm speaking on behalf of my people in real time. Thank you.
Anyone else? Commissioner P.
All the people that are in that Amable area, I agree with you completely. I think it should be changed from an activity to a village. And I'll support doing that after this is passed. We are losing 9.23 acres of farmland to development every hour in this state. That's over 200 acres a day. You know, Our governor has recognized this problem, is trying to help it. It's something that we need to do here. We need to protect the reason people like coming to Rutherford County, the reason they want to live here in Rutherford County. We've got good schools. We need better roads. You know, it goes on and on. We're bursting at the seams, yes. And I've got family that I would like to see be able to live and grow here in Rutherford County. But I also don't want wall-to-wall buildings shoulder to shoulder out in our rural areas and our rural farmlands. Anyway, I would advise you to vote this motion down, and then let's look at adopting this tonight.
Mr. Chairman, one more time.
Yes, I'm sorry, Commissioner Hall.
Hopefully the last one. Joshua, I feel you, buddy. I've lived this. I've just been on this commission for 6 months, and the 4 months of it, I've lived warehouses. I have 3 exits on 840, and all 3 have industrial sites. It shows on this thing only 2, but I've got Sulphur Springs, Jefferson Pike, and then Hillwood, the big one out of 452. I'm going to vote against what you were trying to do because I trust the process. I trust the people on planning, the Jim Thompsons and the people that we have that are on these programs, and the Pettis Reeds that develop this program to make sure the system worked for me and my people in Zone 3 with that Hillwood development. Now, will it come back? Probably so. Yes, sir. It will. Those areas along 840 are poor soil. They're not made really for residential. They're going to be hard to put big septic systems in if it's step system, if that. So these are attractive on those corridors. But I trust what this plan's been over the last 5 years. I've been a little bit involved with it and had people on the radio that talked about this and coming through this. And I'm for it going forward as it sits right now, and then we can take those issues. I'll fight with you and beside you with any of that more that may come out there, just like I had in my district. But I've got 3 in mine, and all 3 of those exits. But I'm going to vote for it tonight, and I just want to say I trust the process, and it worked for me, and I continue to support you, that hopefully it'll work for you as well.
That's a good question.
Chairman.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Piercy?
There's not many rural commissioners in here. You may have a little finger out in the rural area, but like myself, Mr. P., Mr. Hall's got a touch, Mr. Reed does, Mr. Beverly does. Mr. Thompson had the key word a while ago when he made his comments up here, community. Boys, that's what we're trying to keep in the rural area is community. If we can adjust the growth just a little and slow it to maybe 1 house, 1 acre, and I know the plan says there's plenty of opportunity where the farmland will support it and the infrastructure will support it. There could be 2, there could be more. I'm very aware of that, and I'm willing to support that. Mr. James's district, his people have come and spoke. I am full support of what they're wanting to do and what Mr. James is trying to do for his people. But I would like to see that done after this plan is passed so we can ensure their 4.5 years of work is more than a guide. They deserve more than it being called a guide. It needs to be put to work, let it change where it needs to be changed as they work it as a working plan. Thank you.
Let's see what the motion was. I had that question. Thank you, Mike. I think the motion, Jack, do you have it?
Motion to not adopt and use as guide.
The motion was not to adopt Plan Rutherford and use it only as a guide.
Yeah, just to piggyback off that, the essential effect of that is basically this commission's not going to take any action on the request from the Planning Commission. It's going to remain as a guide document. So if you vote yes on that, on the current motion, that's what it means, that this commission is not going to take action on it, and it's going to remain a guidance document with the Planning Commission.
Question, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
So,
Commissioner Cush.
Nick, is that the way
the current or the past PlanRutherford has operated for the last
That might be a question for
18
Doug.
To answer your question, yes. When we adopted the last plan, it was adopted in April 2011, we did not move it to the county commission level. We just kept it at the planning commission. So that's how we operated under that plan.
You ready to vote? Commissioners, for this will be on the, Commissioner Wilson.
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to speak because I do think it's important to get another perspective. There's two perspectives I consider on decisions. The perspective of my district, because they expect me to represent them at the county level. That's number one. But number two, I do also consider its effect on the county as a whole. We have a plethora of unforeseen consequences that can happen from a severe downzoning. And we're not discussing what I really spend my personal time on, which is the economic long-term impact and the affordability and attainability of future housing for our county workers and our municipal workers. We're not coming up with any conversation on the economic impacts, and I'll share a couple conversations with my constituents, because here's the truth. I border Williamson County and Davidson County. The truth is, most of you, except for Jonathan Beverly on patrol, have never stepped foot and won't in District 10. You have no business there, really. You're in Murfreesboro, you have plenty of amenities. Who comes to Smyrna and Laverne, right? So how much do you know about what's going on in the north end? And I'll give you some comments that my constituents shared. I said, here's what the plan does, and I said, here's why. Everyone understands the plight of being in the rural area and them not wanting to have it turn into something with lots of growth. Absolutely. But here's the side you need to also consider. My people said, we love Smyrna. This plan encourages all of the burden of growth to be in our area. We don't want any more traffic. Rock Springs Road shouldn't take 15 minutes to get from Old Nashville just to get to Blair Road, but it does. And if you drive through Rocky Fork Amberville Road, you'll see a universe you've never seen in your life. Jason Cole, the mayor of Laverne, actually spoke yesterday and mentioned there are 15,000 permits in some stage of development to building. 15,000, and you have to repeat that because it seems like that's not possible. There are. And he's exactly right. Commissioner James borders my district. One of the reasons I want to support his amendment, the growth in District 9 and 10, and this has even been confirmed by the school board council. That's who needs the schools first. We are overcrowded. So please think about how it affects those county citizens that say, our traffic's out of control, our schools actually are overcrowded. We just built additions. They're overcrowded again. So here's the plan they're scared about. They've heard rumblings from commissioners in the South say, maybe we need to consider a school somewhere else. The North is getting all the infrastructure. If you push the growth into the city of Murfreesboro and the urban growth boundaries of Smyrna and Laverne, you're going to have to fund public infrastructure like you've never seen before. And it will be by design of this plan. Because we're going to have schools, you're going to have all kinds of public infrastructure. And that's going to have to be funded by the county because that is the way we are set up to fund public infrastructure. So the questions from my folks are, you're going to encourage this to happen. Now what means, are we going to have more apartments? Are we going to have more mixed use, which is the new hot term? Really, you think you're full? Man, I can't pull out of my driveway to go to work in the morning. And it's already coming no matter what we do today. This will exacerbate a problem that's already present for my folks. So they say, Commissioner Wilson, this plan helps the rural people not have more traffic and neighbors, but it does nothing but put the growth on us. The truth is they're right. That assessment is true. And also, you're going to have to build more public infrastructure in the north end because you're by design encouraging the growth to go where the infrastructure already is. That's going to make Laverne and Smyrna even larger. That's going to blow up the Stewart's Creek area because they have utilities, they have infrastructure. Where are we going to build schools? And here's the other thing that bothers me. As soon as you downzone, we automatically take the ability for those landowners to collect maximum price because they can't get 2 or 3 houses anymore. But you just made the precious land in Smyrna and Laverne skyrocket. There will be a land grab because guess who's going to need land for public infrastructure? The government. Who has to pay the highest price for land? Government seems to have a higher price than anybody ever gets because it's the government paying. There's a lot of unintended consequences that we're not speaking of that I'm thinking about for the entire county. Both public infrastructure costs on people in the south to have to pay for infrastructure you will never use, but you're going to have to build schools and infrastructure for us in the north because we have kids falling out of doors and closets because we have no room left. That's how overcrowded we are. So please understand that this is not a plan that I believe should go beyond a reference document, is what you called it earlier. 2 things. 1, this land use plan is already in our planning commission and it's adopted. They are already using it. It's in. Number 2, there is no mandate that a land use document must be approved by any legislative body anywhere. That's not true. This is the plan currently in use, Doug, in the planning commission. Is this used as a guide? You already gave us 1 and 2 today.
Yes.
It's in use. So anyone that thinks this vote tonight says this thing is gone, I saw someone mention we go back to the 2011 plan. That is false. It's false. Okay? I am voting to send this back as a reference document. I was also going to vote no on adoption because I see an economic problem down the road with the infrastructure. We haven't even talked about the urban sprawl that's going to happen when your teachers, police, firemen, EMS cannot afford to live in the county. They're going to have to drive on the roads in. So they're all over those county roads because they're coming to work as long as we can afford them. What about when it costs $100,000 for a police officer in Smyrna because no one in Smyrna can live in Rutherford County, so they drive an hour one way to work? We have a lot of problems. They're not solved. This plan exacerbates the problem in the north end. So I'm just asking you to see that that's my reason for saying no. And that creates a problem for the full county. You will be stuck with the bill for the public infrastructure you're going to need in the north end because of all the growth up there. 15,000 permits within 5 miles of my home. 15,000. We don't even have land purchased to put those kids in school. So the first thing that's going to happen is we're going to have to find millions of dollars to immediately go buy more land. Because now we would have closed down the south and the east, and you're going to have to, so you understand, I've made my point, and I can go on for hours. Hours, because all I do is think about economic problems based on land use decisions. So on behalf of my district, I will not support this now. This is a plan we need to work on. It's not ready for adoption. It's not ready to become legislation that every time you want to make a change, you got to go through the freaking government. Make a change. County commission has to vote on it. Go back. It's so regulated. Just send it back to the planning commission. Let's keep working on it. What's the rush? We might fix it well over the next year and a half, come up with a great idea and adopt it then. But it's too soon. Too many unanswered questions. Too much potential financial liability. And I haven't even gotten to the fact that we're trying to make sure we have jobs for folks over the next 4 to 6 years when we have economic disruption from things like AI. We've got to consider what the economic impact is going to be. Where are people going to live when the housing is even more unaffordable? 1 house per acre. That house is going to have to be $800,000. You're going to send them all up to the north. man, that's going to be really expensive because that's the last place you can live is in the city of Murfreesboro or Smyrna and Laverne's urban growth boundaries. That's all you got left. Oh, it's going to make the price go up and up. I don't even know how we're going to afford county and municipal employees. Don't know. I'd sure like to work on that plan because I don't have an answer for you. But the price will keep going up. There's no one coming to help us. It's our community. We have one way to take care of needed revenue. What is it? Raise property taxes. That's all we got. We've been begging for revenue. We might get some, but it's not going to be the kind you need. For these schools, 130, 140 million for a high school, 100 million for a middle school, 60 million for the elementary school. We're going to need a bunch more. Let's just consider some of these things before making this legislatively adopted so it makes it so hard to make changes easily. Look tonight, back and forth, back and forth. It's clearly enough questions, it's not ready for adoption yet. And I understand the guys in the South, the rule. I know your constituents don't, you want this. Mine don't. I respect you, respect mine. That's my explanation to the public of why I'm voting against this at this time.
You raised your hand first, Commissioner Cush.
Thank you, Mr.
Then
Chair.
Commissioner P.
It's easy for me to come this way. Well done, Phil. You said it a lot better than I did. I'm on the Planning Commission, and I changed my vote. Most of you know that I changed my position on this the last go-round, because as Phil started his dissertation, as a planning commissioner, I have to think about the entire community, the entire borders of Rutherford County. And for that, the Plan Rutherford is a beautiful, sound plan. And I applaud the steering committee, the folks that have put their blood, sweat, and tears in it. I applaud them. I supported it. I was one of the 3 of 6 that sent it. I changed my tune because when it gets down to the goal line, my responsibility is also to my district. And I am in a municipality, mainly District 7. And we don't want more traffic. We don't want more congestion. And Phil explained it beautifully. What this does is it's going to drive more density into those municipalities. I can't say it any better. And District 7 doesn't want that. So that's why I took it as far as I could as a planning commissioner for the good of the whole county. But as a commissioner representing District 7, I had to back down and look at what my constituents want, because I get the calls. I get the calls. So I'm in favor of the motion. It hadn't gotten us in trouble for the last 10 years, so I would have liked for us to vote yes for the current motion to support Plan Rutherford. Thank you.
Commissioner P.
If you say yes on this motion, then you're saying you do not want to adopt the plan and send it back and use it as a reference document.
Support is a reference document. Adopt would be the legislative side.
Well, I've worked over 20 years in Laverne. I know Laverne pretty well. The roads, the schools, I've supported every one of them, any requests y'all had. And everything you had to say, I agree with. You're exactly right. But all you're going to do is, instead of me just paying for it out of the rural area where I'm not getting the schools, I'm not getting the road improvements, now I've got 7 subdivisions in my small district, and there's at least 150 homes in those. It's probably going to be more than that. So now your constituents, same words you use, are going to have to be paying for road improvements out in the rural areas where You can run a fire truck down the middle of some of these roads, Baxter Road for one, and almost hit the limbs on each side of the road. So you guys up there in Laverne are going to be paying for widening those roads. You're going to be paying for these schools out there. And what I'm telling you, it's going to even out either way. You know, this plan has already been in effect. Baxter Road was approved when this plan was being used, and it's in this rural area. But I think you're missing the point. We need these areas. We need our farmers to be able to afford to farm, not just room to build. Yes, I'd like to have my kids live on my farm sometime in the future. I don't plan on subdividing. But if I wanted to and I've got the soils to do it, I could do it. And that's what I think that we should do. I think we should adopt this plan. You know, everything that Phil said, I agree with, but just flip it right over and it affects the rural parts of the areas just like it does the municipalities. Thank you.
Chairman, rebuttal. Rebuttal, please.
Pettis Reed raised his hand before you did. Commissioner Reed.
Mr. Chairman, I think you are hearing, and my fellow commissioners, you're hearing exactly what the steering and what the Planning Commission here. Everybody in your own districts and area have the same problems. When I get ready to pull out of my driveway, I've got the same problem, and I live 17 miles from here, Commissioner. Beautiful job. If that was out in the southern end, we would talk about the beautiful bovine excrement that you did tonight. And I just want to tell you, you did an excellent job explaining. I understand that in the municipal area. But in the rural area, we've got the same problem. We're having development out there on the main highways. We can't get down the highway. So we've all got this, but what I want to say, Mr. Chairman, our next chore as far as a plan is concerned, and I think Commissioner Dodd is going to be somewhat involved in that, is a transportation plan. That's going to be the next deal. Because how do we pay for all the transportation that we've got in this? It's going to be another one. And sir, having been chairman of this one, I give you my blessing, sir. Because it's going to have the same situation and the same job we have. We've got a lot of citizens that come here tonight to see this. And I want to tell you, we've got transportation problems and we've got the whole thing. So sir, we appreciate the time that everybody's done here.
Commissioner Wilson.
Thank you, Chairman. This should be my last comment, but I'd like to rebuttal in what both these commissioners both said. I think you helped me bring my point home, a compromise point. When I heard Commissioner P say that, that's exactly what I'm talking about, balance. The South will have to pay for public infrastructure in the North, and then the North, because the South is not completely closed for business, will have some, hopefully, affordable housing options can be discussed, so we can have working families have attainable single-family homes to start their lives in. So what I'm looking for is exactly what Commissioner P was saying, it's balance. We as a county have helped each other from north to south, and we balance out where the needs are. My concerns on this plan, as it is today, is it's pushing such a high-density growth amount into the urban growth boundaries, specifically of Murfreesboro, Smyrna, and Laverne, that it's out of balance. That's exactly what I was talking about, as growth is where affordable housing can be looked at on how we can try to find ways for working families to have housing in the South where there's some space. Don't know what that looks like, but we're problem solvers. I don't have the answer today, but we're problem solvers. We look into it and figure out how do we make it happen. I don't have the answers, but we are filled with brilliant people in this county to get together and figure things out. But if we don't have housing for our county and city employees that cannot afford to start life out on a municipal salary with a house payment of $3,500 a month just for their home, then I look at what the future's going to be, because we talk about raises for public safety workers, how we really want to make that happen. Well, if their house payment continues to rise, and along with every other uncontrollable cost we don't have any influence in, how much will you have to pay a teacher or police officer to teach or patrol the streets or be at the EMS or fire station in your county. It's going to get to a place that is unsustainable for people on fixed incomes. It's going to be unsustainable for people that aren't making $100,000 or $150,000 each, and those jobs seem to be going away into automation. My point is, if you don't look at this, and you can dismiss me if you want, but this is what's happening in real life in my district, where a lot of the people work in Nashville and they work in Brentwood. You know why they live there? Because they can't afford to live in Williamson County or Nashville. So we're just going to keep leapfrogging all of our county employees so that they're all one county over. And that's what I think we have to be careful. All I'm saying is be patient. Don't adopt something that needs more questions asked. How does this affect the economic impact of job creation and jobs in our county? Because the number one thing businesses ask when they want to bring a business into our county is, what's the workforce? And guess the next one, how's the education? The quality of your education, the ability to have workforce is what's going to keep jobs. Now, for a lot of people in my district, and I help some of their kids, they can't live here. That's the reality. They grew up in Rutherford County. They grew up with those beautiful summer nights and being in Rutherford County, loving living here, but they can't stay. They can't even afford an apartment in Rutherford County. I just think we should look at all of the economic impacts of what happens when you do a mass downzoning from the possibility of 3 single-family homes to 1. That's a massive downzoning. I think you should look at the economic long-term effects, and you're also pushing growth into these municipalities. I think you need to consider what the impact is before we do it. Why rush? Why rush? Why not spend a little more time to get this better? Have a little more discussion. If anything, the public is now more involved than they've ever been, and we'll continue to bring them in. Because you notice that no one from my district was here tonight. I didn't hear anyone from any of the northern districts. It's very disconnected. That's not your fault, but that's the reality. We have to represent people that normally don't make it all the way up here. And that's just the reality of the situation. So I'm done talking, but I just wanted to say balance is the key. Balance. But you're going to have to not shut down an area of growth that could eventually provide starting housing for employees and our kids that can't afford to spend $500,000 on their first house.
Commissioner Oliver. I'll not cut off conversation. There are those that haven't had a chance to speak and may want to speak. I'm one of them. Let me kind of, I wasn't planning on doing this, but let me do it. Some of the things that Commissioner Wilson said, and out of our 4 years together, I've not disagreed with anything.
Point of order, please.
I'm sorry?
I said point of order. I called for the question. If you don't want to do it, that's fine, but it's eligible for a vote because it was seconded.
My answer was no, and that's final.
Is that correct parliamentary procedure?
If the chairman does not recognize you and that motion, then it's not on the floor.
I was recognized.
As to the motion.
So even though it was seconded,
Commissioner Oliver.
is that what you're saying? I'm just asking for clarity, that's
I
all.
have time and time and time again recognized you. I want to make a comment, and I expect you to allow me to make that comment.
I understand. I was just asking the question. Is that proper parliamentary procedure? That was my only question.
Does the chair recognize the motion?
No. No.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Wilson, I've agreed with everything you've ever brought up, everything. Is this better? Okay. And I appreciate what you're saying, but I tend to disagree. I'm a native of Rutherford County. I was born in Laverne. I went to high school at Smyrna. My family, what's left of them, still lives in Laverne. I spend a good deal of time down in that end of the county, and I know exactly what's going on down there. opportunity that we have right now is to partner with our Planning Commission and to back up what they've recommended as a long-term vision for our county. If it's used as a guideline and not more than a guideline, something that we have to live by, then the Planning Commission makes decisions on what that long-term plan looks like. So what if the Planning Commission came in a month from now without the approval of this committee and said, no longer will it be a unit per acre, but all over the county, 5 units per acre. Or let's just take it the other way, 1 unit per 5 acres. Where would this commission be at that particular point in time? So what the Planning Commission is actually asking you guys to do is to partner with that Planning Commission by allowing PlanRutherford to take effect, that we all have guidelines, that we know what those guidelines are. The Planning Commission would not have the authority to make changes to that comprehensive plan without the approval of the Rutherford County Commission. So your point is well received. I disagree with it. I do disagree with it. But what PlanRutherford is asking is that for this commission to come on board with what the long-term vision of this county should look like. And it does not affect, in my mind, the northern end of the county any more than it affects the southern end of the county. I disagree with that. One of the things that I think should be considered is we keep hearing affordable housing. Does any commissioner feel like they have any effect on what affordable housing is, other than property taxes? I don't think so. My thought as it relates to affordable housing is that 3 years ago, my property evaluation went up 83% in 1 year. I didn't have any input in that. Did you have any input in that? The cost of building supplies went up over 100%. Interest rates went from affordable to unaffordable at over 7%. That's nothing that this commission has any influence over, none. So affordable housing, I don't know how we address that. I apologize for being, if I am argumentative, but I disagree with what you're saying. And I think there are a lot of commissioners that know what's going on in the northern end of the county, especially those that are on the Planning Commission. And if PlanRutherford is not approved, things will be unchanged on the northern end of the county. And there will be continued development outside of those incorporated areas, unfeathered. So it's my thought, just a little bit different. As far as affordable housing, you keep hearing it over and over again. I don't know what to do about it. And I'm pretty sure there's not a commissioner here that knows what to do about it. Do you control the value of property? I don't think so. Do you control interest rates? I don't think so. Do you control building materials? I don't think so either. And as far as the future of people coming into Rutherford County, my kids can't afford to live here. I've still got one living with me who's in his 30s. And I've got one that moved to Georgia. So I kind of agree with what you're saying. But all PlanRutherford is trying to develop a consensus, not perfect for everyone, but a consensus of what we think this county should look like 20 years from now. Okay, Commissioner Oliver.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to note that according to Robert's Rules of Order, a chair cannot arbitrarily ignore a properly made and seconded motion, and it must be either state the question, put it before the assembly. If the chair ignores a motion, members can appeal if necessary to force a vote. Okay. That's according to Robert's Rules of Order. Thank you.
Commissioner Oliver, I hear what you're saying. No one made a motion to overrule, and I overruled. Okay. Any other comments? Any more? Commissioner James, I've heard from you time and time again. Make it brief.
I just wanted to rebut your statement. I do think that we in the commission do have direct influence on affordability, although slight compared to some of the points that you made. But with the policies, procedures, and permits that we enact and create for entrance to our market for both residents or industry, that we actually do have a slight piece of that pie ourselves. And so it's very prudent for us to monitor that very closely and carefully. Just want to make that plain.
So noted. Thank you. Other comments? We're going to vote. I think to kind of get back to the motion, Mike, I believe it is to not approve Plan Rutherford and to use it, let the Planning Commission use it only as a guide. Is that right? Essentially? Okay. Everybody understand that?
Yes, it means no action. A no means you want something else.
Commissioners, for this, we will be on the board, so please cast your vote.
Correct.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
12 yes, 9 no.
Motion passes. Next on our agenda is item J, Report of Standing Committees. Item J1, Budget, Finance, and Investment Committee. Chairman Robert P.
Mr. Chairman, real quick before he comes, I know we've talked about affordable housing, affordable this and that. I'm not sure what the correct process is, but this is just an idea. Can we start a process to conduct some type of affordable housing study to kind of, let our constituents know and ourselves, and see where we go from there. But I think maybe if we take it up in steering or someone or somewhere else, just to do some type of affordable housing study and see where we go from there. So I'll be willing to work with any commissioners who want to try to get that going. So.
I don't know what to do with that.
Commissioner McMurray, are you wanting maybe some sort of study group that's comprised of various individuals to look into this? Is that kind of the ask?
Well, yeah, just to get some options. I mean, affordable housing kept coming up tonight.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be good to kind of maybe have some type of study or at least where do we go? Give us options on it if we have to pay for someone to do it or if we already have that study done, if something can be provided to us in regards to affordable housing because it's on everyone's mind. So.
That inquiry may need to start in the steering committee, and so Chairman Harris can speak on that, or he can take that up on his agenda. That's probably where establishment of that would occur first.
Okay, I'll get with Chairman Harris.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We had no problem with it.
Thank you. Now, getting to our standing committee reports, item J1, Budget, Finance, and Investment Committee, Chairman Robert P.
to start with item 14. I think Commissioner Oliver wished to pull that, and it has to do with the JAG grant. This is an ongoing grant that we've been sharing with Murfreesboro City for many years. Every other year, I think, when we look at this, one or the other of our governments administer the grant. This year, I think it's the city of Murfreesboro, but it's a grant that we split 50-50. It's for equipment, different things like that for our agencies, but I'll go ahead and read the resolution. Whereas the city of Murfreesboro and Rutherford County desire to jointly apply for the Department of Justice 2025 Burn Justice Assistant Grant, JAG, with the city of Murfreesboro and Rutherford County to each receive 1/2 of the award. And whereas to receive the award, the program requires that the application be filed jointly between the county and the city, and an interlocal agreement be executed between the two entities agreeing upon the amount of funds each is to receive, and which agency will file the application on behalf of both entities. And whereas it is being proposed that the city of Murfreesboro be designated as the fiscal agent to file the application on behalf of both entities, request the drawdown of funds, and pass the agreed-upon portion of the funds on to Rutherford County. Therefore, be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the county mayor and all other appropriate officials be and are hereby authorized to enter into an interlocal agreement with the city of Murfreesboro, a copy of the same being attached hereto as Exhibit 1 and incorporated herein by reference as if set forth herein at length verbatim, designating the city of Murfreesboro as the fiscal agent to apply for the 2025 Burn Justice Assistant Grant on behalf of Rutherford County, with the share being 1/2 of the funds awarded each, and additionally that the county mayor be authorized to accept the grant, subject to it being awarded, resolved the 16th day of April 2026. Mr. Chairman, I so move. Got a question too. Michael, when did we receive this grant?
Well, this grant was originally approved by Public Safety and Budget and Commission back in May of last year. The reason this is back before you tonight is the interlocal agreement had some legal revisions to it. I believe there might have been some indemnity language that was solidified or changed. And this, as the chairman said, we get this grant every year. We partner with the city. Last year, we bought some stuff for some training target equipment systems. I believe this year, and it's for law enforcement equipment just in general, I believe this year the plan is to do something with the SWAT team's night vision goggles, to upgrade those for this year is the plan right now. But every year it's for law enforcement equipment is what that's for, and we share that with the city.
And I do have a question for Commissioner Oliver. Were you at the last public safety meeting where this was introduced? Okay, thank you.
That's why I was asking, what does it cover? Because it wasn't in the resolution, because I didn't recall. And so you said it's law enforcement equipment.
And tonight, like I said, the grant's not on it's the interlocal agreement that we're doing tonight. The grant has already been approved for us.
Questions or comments? Commissioner Oliver, did that answer all your questions? It did. Okay, very good, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Other discussion? We'll be on the board for this. Commissioners, if you would, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
21 yes.
Motion passes. Commissioner P.
Okay, item A, this has to do with the resolution to elect to exercise the second option to extend the initial permitting period for an additional 30 days and approve additional deposit of $100,000 toward the purchase of the Bank of America building. The resolution authorizing the exercise of that. Whereas Rutherford County entered into the certain real estate purchase agreement dated August 14, 2025, with MAC 3 Properties LLC for the purchase of approximately 1.249 acres of real property located at 120 East Main Street, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, commonly known as the Bank of America Building, and whereas the real estate purchase agreement provides for an initial permitting period and permits the county as buyer to extend such permitting period for up to 3 additional 30-day periods, whereas the parties executed a First Amendment to the real estate purchase agreement on December 12, 2025, which increased the earnest money required for each permitting period extension to $100,000. And whereas the county previously exercised its first available 30-day extension, and whereas the county desires to exercise the second of the available 30-day extensions of the initial permitting period in order to continue due diligence, permitting, and evaluation of the property, now therefore be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that it is hereby authorized the county to execute the second 30-day extension of the initial permitting period under the real estate purchase agreement for the property located at 120 East Main Street, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Be it further resolved that payment of the required earnest money deposit in the amount of $100,000 associated with such extension is hereby approved. Be it further resolved that the Rutherford County Mayor and appropriate county officials are authorized to execute any notices, documents, or instruments necessary to execute the extension and carry out the intent of this resolution, subject to the county attorney approval. Resolved the 16th day of April, 2026. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner James.
I've got a question on this. And forgive me if I've missed it over the last month or so. What is our update on it? Because I keep seeing the request to extend another 30 days and pay for the plan. But what is our update on the valuation that we're looking at having the overall cost is? If it's worth the purchase at this point.
Commissioner James, I believe this is just step 2 in the approval process that we approved initially. Step 2, we even got one more step that we can take before we finalize and close the bid.
So
maybe Nick can add to that.
Michael can piggyback too. So at the Budget Committee, when this was considered, there was a request made to have KSA, the architect, come and provide some updates to the committees next month, and I have made that request. I haven't heard back yet, but I've made that request, and I will follow up with him again, assuming this passes tomorrow, asking that he bring an update. As you know, the purchasing committee has already onboarded a construction manager at risk to help with the design plans, and that's already been funded. And KSA, the architect, is still working on the design schematics to try and get this commission and its committees some firmer numbers about renovation cost. And so we've got this second option for another 30 days, and then under the contract, we have one more option. So we've got about a 60-day window here before we need to decide if we're going to close on the property. So I envision you will be learning a lot more, particularly after Budget Committee's request to KSA to be present on these costs that you're asking about for renovations.
I understand that. My question comes down to, what did we do with this last 30-day extension? What new information do we get? Did we get anything? If we didn't, why are we throwing more good money after bad? That's my concern here.
Yeah, so I'll just follow up one more item. So there are 2 legal matters that pertain to the closing that have not yet been resolved. One is with respect to the parking facilities that are on the backside of the property that abut the buildings that are on the square. There's a lawsuit that's involved in that that's unrelated to the county. The county is not involved in that lawsuit, but is a pending lawsuit that I've been working with the parties involved, assuming that we're going to close on this property, to try and get resolved. And that's just been taking time to get engineers involved, to get a parking arrangement that is suitable for the owners of the building that abut the Bank of America building. That's number 1. And then number 2, there's a legal matter that's still getting resolved involving the church across the street. They have got certain legal rights to use of the parking area, but I have full confidence that those items will be addressed before closing on this to allow reasonable access to the church members on after-hours use of the parking facilities that the county will have attached to that building. So those are from the legal side of things. I think the other side of thing that Michael can maybe comment too on is just the design of this takes time, and there's a schematic timeline that is being followed. Mike?
The architect and the construction manager have met with all the departments. I do know they have met with everybody, all the departments in Goldstein. They've also met with my department or any other department that would use of that building, that has potential use for future of that building. And so that has been done. I believe there is a draft of those blueprints, rough drawings of those. I think they're trying to finalize those to bring those next month. Again, as Nick mentioned, that would be, Budget Committee did request that. But to your question, why are you adding more money to this? If we don't do this, then the contract goes away and we don't get the building. So it was built in to have, I believe it was 3 permitting periods. This would be exercising our option to do the second permitting period, and you would have one more if you wish to continue. But that's what's been going on behind the scenes, and I believe KSA will provide an updated budget, and I guess if this body wishes it, commission next month.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Does this go off the purchase price of the
Yes.
$100,000?
Yes.
Yes.
And two, why didn't we get this in property management? Wouldn't it need to come through our committee first, then the budget?
Typically, I guess I don't, or the Chairman McAdoo.
It came through when we increased, they lowered the cost and they increased the earnest money we had to provide them through our committee. Why didn't this come through?
I did. I can only speak what's forwarded to the Budget Committee, so I'm not sure who handles that for property management.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I may be able to clear up some of it.
Chairman McAdoo.
KSA has requested to be on our agenda this month to bring us a draft. And as far as I know, that draft will be presented to us, and then whatever we vote on or whatever, we'll send it on the budget, and then from budget, it come to this full commission. But KSA, on the draft, has scheduled a presentation to property management at our next meeting.
I want to make a couple of statements. There's 6 commissioners here that's on purchasing. Purchasing has been getting updates, the deal about the parking lot, for instance. So to let you know, they have been giving us some updates, and they are going to go to Chairman McAdoo's committee to address this. But the reason we're seeing this now is not trying to bypass anything, but if you look at the contract proposal there, extension ends tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So if we don't make an act now, basically what money we put in there is gone. And anyway, the only way that we can continue to look at this is to do a favorable vote. Now, if you don't want to vote for it, that's a different thing, but we need to go ahead and make this extension if we are still going to consider purchasing this building. And it's got to do with that being due tomorrow. So that's why you're seeing it.
Other questions? Once again, we have a motion and a second, and for this, commissioners will be on the board, so please cast your vote. While IT is working on this, let's do a quick roll call vote. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Oliver?
Nay.
Commissioner Piercy?
Yes.
Commissioner Hall?
No.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Davison?
Yes.
Commissioner Beverly?
Yes.
Commissioner Cush?
Yes.
Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
No.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Commissioner Anthony Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Paul Johnson? Commissioner Irvin?
No.
Commissioner Harris?
No.
Commissioner Dodd?
Yes.
Commissioner McAdoo?
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yay.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Chairman Phillips?
Yes. Motion passes. We've had a request from Commissioner Johnson, and I'm not going to say which Commissioner Johnson it is, but we're going to take a 5-minute break. Back into order. There's been a couple of questions at the last vote. That last vote was 16 yes and 5 no. Chairman P.
Okay, the next item we're looking at is budget item B, and this is adjustments to insurance. We normally do this toward the end of the year where people may have had a birth, some kind of significant change. Somebody may have retired and we hired somebody and their insurance is different. But anyway, all of these expenditures are adjustments to insurance. Resolution. Be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the general fund be amended as follows. Increase expenditures, employee and dependent insurance, $2,750, and I'm just going to read these down. Each one of them is a different department. $8,450, $3,900, $30,900, $1,950, $23,150, $94,700, $11,700, $75,000, and a decrease in unassigned balance of $102,500. Resolved this 16th day of April 2026. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion. Commissioners will be on the board. Please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
21 yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, budget item C is a presentation of the general obligation bond refunding issue letter, and we're required by state law to present this to the commission. We will not vote on this. You should have that in front of you. If you have any questions, Michael can certainly address that for you. But anyway, you can read that at your, as time allows. But any questions right off the bat? If not, we're going to move on to the next section. Hearing none, budget by item D is a resolution to approve the TCRS pension rate for the fiscal year 27 budget. And before I read this, I want to mention at our last budget meeting, we had a representative of the Treasury Department in here to explain these retirement systems, the legacy retirement system that we use for our regular county employees, and also the TCRS system. And I would urge all of you to go back and look at that. This is something that really cost us a lot of money in the past, and it looks like it's rearing its head again. It can be very costly, and understanding where we need to go on that's important for all of you, not just the budget members. Having said that, I'm going to go ahead with this resolution. Whereas the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System, TCRS, a program of the Tennessee Department of Treasury, has provided the minimum pension contribution rate for Rutherford County for the period of July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. And whereas the minimum contribution rate for Rutherford County will be 13.62%, and Rutherford County can elect to contribute more. Therefore, be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the county mayor and all other required officials of Rutherford County, Tennessee be and are hereby authorized to sign the TCRS employer contribution rate certification. A copy of the same being attached hereto as Exhibit 1 and incorporated herein as by reference as if set forth herein at length verbatim. With TCRS, a program of the Tennessee Department of Treasury, agreeing to a pension contribution percentage of 13.62% for the period of July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. Resolved the 16th day of April 2026. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
We have a motion and a second. Michael, do you have a comment?
Commissioners, normally this would be on consent agenda, but we put it on as a standing committee item, and I want to bring attention to something. When I first got here, and even before then, our pension rate has kind of gone up exponentially over the last couple of years, but this year, it's going to cost the general fund probably over $2 million, depending in that approximate range, and that's a lot of money. That's over a penny on the tax rate. And so that's why we put it here tonight, to kind of bring attention to that, because it's not sustainable to keep going up $2 million, $1.5 million to $2 million a year on the pension rate. And so I want to echo the chairman to go back and watch that meeting, and if you have questions, please let me know, because it is definitely something we need to tackle to be proactive as we look forward, because it will have a major impact on the budget, and it has, but even more so next year going forward.
Other questions or comments?
I just have in more layman terms, for our employees who are going to see this, how does that affect them paycheck by paycheck? Like, what do they see difference with it?
So the employee will not see anything on this. And I'll try to be brief here. This affects all county employees. It also affects our school non-certified, so not our teachers, but it affects our school classified staff, and it affects some other individual entities that are under our pension system, like the highway department and things like that. With that said, we are non-contributory here. So a lot of places, if you go work at the state, if you're a teacher in our district, you are contributory. You can contribute a piece. So we are on the old, I call it the old school, but the old legacy plan, where we are one of the only non-contributory people remaining around here. Even Williamson County, they contribute 5% out of their check. So our employees do not contribute anything. What this 13.62% is our match. So if you work for a private company and they match 6%, we're matching 13.62% of your salary and putting it in the pension system on your behalf. It's a very rich benefit. It's a very good benefit, but it is very costly. So for an employee, they will see no difference in their check, but it's an actuarially determined rate, and you can see that calculation on page 4 on your iPads if you wish to look at it. But it's mandated that that's the minimum we have to pay every year. The state sets that amount for us. So an employee will not see any difference in their check, but it is what we put in on their behalf to the pension system.
And just to refresh me, what's the vesting period for the employees? What's the time they can start to draw, or how many years they have to have on service?
So to vest with Rutherford County, you have to have 5 years. But that also gets a little more complicated if you have years of service somewhere else. And if you work at the state, I can't give you an exact when you can draw it, because it depends on the calculation as determined. So if you were part of the hybrid system at the state, you can vest there, and you can come here and vest, and it's a formula that the TCRS, the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System, runs on your behalf, so you have to check with them. But for us, if you work 30 years here at the county and we're your only employer in the pension system, you could draw your full pension at either 30 years or age 60, if you had no other years of service or credit in any other pension system. But if you are a 30-year employee here at the county, then 30 years or age 60 for our legacy plan.
Other questions? Seeing none, commissioners, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
21 yes.
Motion passes. Chairman P.
Item E, this is a resolution to approve $475,000 funding request for the county clerk renovations and EMS buildings, FF&E in Smyrna. We have actually passed this, but we just got the bids through purchasing a couple of weeks ago. And anyway, this is where we ended up with the money that went to budget, and we decided to take this out of investment income. So I'll read the resolution. Whereas there is a need for an additional drive-through lane at the county clerk's office located in Smyrna, Tennessee, along with replacements for drive-through equipment needed at the Murfreesboro location, and whereas there is also a need for additional furniture, fixture, and equipment and low-voltage equipment at the Smyrna county clerk location and the future EMS station located nearby. Whereas funding is being requested in the amount of $475,000 to be funded out of excess investment income. Therefore, be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the general fund be amended as follows. Increase revenue from investment income of $475,000 and a decrease of expense and transfer to other funds $475,000. Resolved the 16th day of April 2026. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Again, I'm wanting to, for clarity, I believe the funds that was set aside for the Forensic Center was this as well. Was this part of that same group being moved in for the specific item, or is this new funds?
So this is new funds. This also has no impact. This also has nothing to do with the Forensic Center. So we have funded, I don't remember the date, it was several months ago, last fall. We funded only the design cost for the canopy expansion for the county clerk's building. That was explicit in the motion. I can go back and find it if you need me to. The other thing that was funded was the construction piece of the EMS station. That is taken care of. This covers the construction piece of the county clerk's canopy. It also covers the FF&E and low voltage for the EMS station, not the construction, the FF&E and low voltage, and for the county clerk's canopy. But what it also did was the county clerk, as part of her budget this year, she needed some maintenance and a new tube system at the Murfreesboro location, and we asked her to put this as part of this capital request, not as part of her operating budget. So that's the other reason you're seeing new money here. We made that request of her, and she obliged. So you're seeing some things here that were never funded previously. Main thing being the canopy at the extension there, and the new tube system in Murfreesboro, and then it covers some small low voltage and FF&E costs that goes with these two projects. But the construction of the EMS station it is already funded.
Other questions? Please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
20 yes, 1 abstain.
Motion passes. Chairman P.
Budget item F, a resolution authorizing a continuous 4-year reappraisal cycle, whereas TCA 67-5-1601 establishes a general 6-year reappraisal cycle for updating and equalizing property values of every county in Tennessee for property tax purposes. And whereas TCA 67-5-1601 provides that upon submission of a plan by the assessor of properties and approval by the State Board of Equalization, a reappraisal program may be completed on a continuous 4-year cycle comprised of an on-site review of each real property over a 3-year period, followed by reevaluation of all such property in the year following completion of the review period. And whereas in accordance with TCA 67-5-1601, the assessor of properties for Rutherford County has prepared a plan for carrying out the county's reappraisal and equalization program, a copy of which is attached hereto as Exhibit A and incorporated herein by reference, which must be reviewed and acted upon by resolution of the Rutherford County Legislative Body and the county mayor pursuant to TCA 67-5-1601C1. And whereas the Tennessee Division of Property Assessments, the DPA, has provided a memorandum of understanding to Rutherford County for the purpose of clarifying the area of responsibility for all parties involved in the 2026-year reappraisal program for Rutherford County, a copy which is attached hereto as Exhibit B and incorporated herein by reference. Now therefore be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that 1, the plan for the reappraisal and equalization of assessments in Rutherford County be submitted by the Assessor of Properties and attached hereto as Exhibit A is hereby approved, and the Assessor of Properties, County Mayor, and Chairman of the County Commission are hereby authorized to execute the same. Item 2, that pursuant to TCA 67-5-1601, reappraisal shall be accomplished in Rutherford County, Tennessee by a continuous 4-year cycle beginning July 1st, 2026, comprised on an on-site current aerial imagery review of each parcel of property over a 3-year period, followed by evaluation of all such properties for tax year 2030, and item 3, that the Assessor of Properties and the County Mayor are hereby authorized to execute the 2026 year reappraisal program memorandum of understanding attached hereto as Exhibit B. Resolved this 16th day of April 2026. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Commissioners, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
20 yes, 1 no.
Motion passes. Chairman P.
Budget item G. This is a resolution to accept a grant for our road board, and it's for a generator in case we have a catastrophic failure. Excuse me a second. Be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the Highway Fund be amended as follows: a decrease in assigned for highways, public works, $17,824. That is the county's match. Increased expenditures for highway equipment, $356,477. Increased revenue, other federal through state, is $267,358. An increase from other state grants of $71,295. Resolved this 16th day of April 2026. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Discussion or questions? Commissioners, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
21 yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes our business. Before I leave, I want to remind you, if you want to look back at the TCRS, the retirement system increase, that was on April the 9th. So the Budget Committee meeting from April the 9th. Our next scheduled meeting is May the 7th. And I have a question, Chairman. There was a question about one of the votes afterwards that you explained when we returned. Is it okay if I ask a question about one of our votes at this time?
You got the floor.
Thank you. Since Mayor Carr has exercised his veto option in the past, how would this affect the vote on this PlanRutherford if he was to veto that?
I'll have to look into that. Chairman P., I'm happy to do that, and I can give you a call.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Item J2, Public Safety Committee, Chairman Pettis Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, our next meeting will be Monday, April the 27th, here in this room at 5:30. I have had a request from Rutherford County Emergency Management that has come through the Public Safety Committee, and the request was for the appointment of Susie Cunningham and John Ingram to the United Dispatch Steering Committee. It was approved by Public Safety, and I will make that motion tonight that we so move that they be nominated to that committee.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the appointment of Susie Cunningham and John Engel to the Unified Dispatch Steering Committee. Other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you. Item J3, Health and Education Committee, Chairman Phil Dodd.
Thank you, Chairman. Tonight we have no report. Our next meeting is April 28th, 2026, 5:30 p.m. at this location.
Thank you. Item J4, Property Management Committee, Chairman Alan McAdoo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, we do have one order of business I need to bring forward, and that's the approval of combination plat for a single road property. And we got a resolution on our SharePoint, so if you want to hear the resolution, I'll read it. Either I can summarize it real quick. It's up to the commission. Basically speaking, we bought that property, we bought it in 3 plats. And so what we're trying to do now is combine it all into 1 plat. And the resolution reads to that effect. There's no money involved or anything, but it's just easy to have that whole Florence Road property in 1 plat instead of 3 plats. So do I have any questions, or anybody want to hear the resolution? Am I right?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Motion to approve? Got a second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the combination from 3 plats to 1 plat on the single road property. Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposition? Motion to approve carries.
No. 1 no.
1 no.
Any others?
Okay, our next meeting is April the 30th at 5:30 p.m. And like I stated before, KSA is scheduled to be on the agenda to present that draft of the BOA building.
Thank you. Item J5, Public Works and Planning Committee, Chairman Anthony Johnson.
Thank you, Chairman. Tonight we have a resolution confirming the solid waste director's appointment. It's real small. Whereas the county mayor has appointed Matt Davis to serve as solid waste director, whereas the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners desires to confirm said appointment in accordance with TCA 5-6-106C. Now therefore be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the appointment of Matt Davis as solid waste director for Rutherford County, Tennessee, is hereby confirmed pursuant to Tennessee Code Annotated 5-6-109C. Effective April 6th, the salary will be $116,402. Resolved this day, 16th of April, 2006. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you.
Our next Public Works meeting is scheduled for May the 6th, but I'm sure that we're not going to be, the courthouse will not be available to us for that day. So we're that'll be announced later. Thank you.
While we're on the topic and without objection, I'd like to present something that was presented to the steering committee at the last meeting. The mayor had our HR department put together a list of department heads that were not approved or confirmed by this commission, some of them dating back to 2006. And there was also some concern that those people are fearful of their jobs and what the county commission may do to them. I'm going to declare that those employees have no fear from the county commission and they should be considered confirmed. There are two individuals that current mayor, Mayor Carr, appointed and were not confirmed by this commission, and I'll entertain a motion to approve those two and confirm them. Tina Beebe, she's the Youth Services Director, and she was appointed in October of last year, and Kelly Haley, the Probation Director, and she was appointed in January of 2024. I'll entertain a motion to confirm both of those.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you. Item L6, J6, I'm sorry, Steering Legislative and Governmental Committee, Chairman Craig Harris.
Mr. Chairman, we do not have a report. Our next meeting will be May 4th at 5:30.
Thank you. We're getting ready to go in an executive session, and I'd just like to say that the election process started yesterday. I don't know how many of you have voted, but I took advantage, and my family took advantage of early voting. I see Commissioner Cush is wearing his button, so I would encourage you to get out and vote early and not ignore the process and not wait till the last minute. At this time, we're going to go into executive session, and only, and I'm going to ask everyone except the county commission, our legal attorney, and our financial advisor be present. So if you would, clear the room. The commission has met in executive session to talk about a potential requested lawsuit that the county become involved in between the state comptroller's office and our property assessor's department. Let me just very briefly read, try to ad lib into this. The commission met in executive session to receive legal advice regarding a request from the property assessor regarding potential litigation against the State Board of Equalization and the Comptroller's Division of Property Assessments. The State Board of Equalization issued a formal finding of noncompliance and directed the assessor's office to take specific corrective action. Those issues were identified by the Comptroller's Division of Property Assessments and were required to be addressed. The assessor's office has since undertaken efforts to correct those issues in accordance to the state directives, and as we understand it, is now in compliance. As far as we're concerned, there's nothing to litigate. The state, the comptroller has issued a statement saying that they were now in compliance, and the findings are in the process of being corrected. So on advice of counsel, the county commission has decided not to participate in any litigation between the comptroller's office and the state of Tennessee. I don't know if I said that exactly the way it needs to be said, but the request for the county commission to become involved in the process is not going to happen. So that's where we are. I'm sorry, Chairman Harris.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we instruct purchasing to stop RFPs on this matter and no longer pursue those.
I think the motion is for the RFPs that were discussed as it relates to bringing in outside auditors to look at those compliances. Everyone understand that motion? Okay, any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you. It's been brought to my attention that one of the two department heads, I gave the wrong name. It was the person that was retiring and not the person that's been promoted. And let me see if I can pull up the correct name. Nick, did you have that on your phone? It was the Youth Services Director, and it's Todd Savage, and I gave the retiring director's name, which was Tina Bigby. So if I could have a motion to confirm Todd Savage to the Youth Services Director, it would correct my error. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. Here we are, late at night. Anyone have anything else that you'd like to bring up tonight under other business? Commissioner P.
I was fixing to start on shout-outs, if that's okay.
Shout-outs are good.
The Kittrell Community Park is hosting a Meet the Candidates on Tuesday, April the 21st from 5 to 7:30. The Fiery Pig will be there for some good food, and a portion of that will go to the park. We're inviting you out to meet the candidates. Of course, District 4 commissioners, the sheriff's candidates, and other candidates that are interested are invited. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other shout-outs?
Mr. Chairman, I was standing here to give a shout out to a new local food restaurant called Vu's or Vui's, however you want to pronounce it. They graciously provided us with our meal this evening, so they're on Veterans Parkway, so feel free to swing by there and tell them thank you whenever you get a chance.
Thank you. Others? Once again, tonight there was disagreement, but it was healthy disagreement, and me, as your chairman, will support the decisions that came out of this commission. Whether I agree with them or not, I will support them. And I thank you for your participation. With that, hope you enjoy your spring, and we are adjourned.